And then the last thing that we have started learning in math here lately is adding and subtracting decimals. So let's practice a few before our check-in. Miss Verdi ran 43 1200 miles last week. This week she ran 34 2100 miles. How many more miles did Miss Verdi run last week than this week? How many more tells me to find the difference. That gives me a clue I need to subtract. I'm going to put the larger number on top. That would be 43 1200. Then align my decimal up with the 34 2100, and I'm going to subtract them. 2 minus 1 is 1. I cannot do 1 minus 2, so I need to regroup and borrow. I have 3 holes here, so I'm going to borrow 1 hole. That's going to become 2 holes. I'm going to add that 1 hole over here to my 1/10, and I'm going to break it up into tenths, so I would have 10 tenths added to the 1/10 I already have, which is now 11 tenths. 11 minus 2 is 9. 2 minus 4, I can't do that, so I need to regroup or borrow. That 40 becomes a 30, so I'm going to make that a 3. I take 10, and I put it in my ones value, so that would be 10 ones, plus the 2 ones I already have. That's going to become 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. 3 minus 3 is nothing, and bring down your decimal point. So last week, Miss Verdi ran 8 9100 miles more. How many more miles did Miss Verdi run last week? So last week she ran 8 9100 miles more than this week. Okay. The next one says a baker bought 23 400 pounds of flour to make muffins. 17 6,800 pounds was white flour. The rest was gluten-free almond flour. How many pounds of flour did the baker buy? Okay, so he bought a total amount here. This is how much he bought in all. And then this was the amount that was white flour. The rest was almond flour. So I want to know how many pounds were almond flour. So I'm going to need to subtract. So what step am I going to use? I'm going to subtract, because whatever is left over after the white flour will be almond flour. So I would take 23 400, stack it over top of 17 6,800. That's my greater value, and I would subtract. So I've got to do some regrouping here all the way to my tens place. That would become 110, and this would be 13 ones. And then I have to regroup again, so that would be 12 ones. So this could be 10 tenths, and then 9 tenths. This would become 14 hundredths. So now 14 minus 8 is 6, 9 minus 6 is 3, 12 minus 7 is 5, and 1 minus 1 is nothing. Bring down your decimal. Don't forget that. It's very important. So there would be 5 3600 pounds of almond flour. The next problem, Alyssa bought 3 items for her mom's birthday. The perfume cost $24.51. The flowers cost $15.12. The total cost of the 3 items was $42.39. What was the cost of the 3rd item, which is a birthday card? This is a multi-step problem. So what steps will we take to solve and find the missing item's price? First, we would need to find the total amount that she's already paid for item 1 and 2. So we need to find the total price of perfume and flowers. So we would add those. And then we would take that sum and we would subtract it. So here's the answer for this. I would then subtract the sum from my total. So I would take my $42.39 and subtract the sum of my other 2 items, and that will leave me with the missing price of that last item. So I'm going to start by doing $24.51 plus $15.12. And I will just add them. I stack my decimal, align my decimals up. So I get $39.63. That's the total of both of these items. So now I'm going to take my total amount of all three items, which is $42.39, and I'm going to subtract the total of the first two items, which is $39.63. 9 minus 3 is 6. I can't do 3 minus 6, so I need to regroup. I can't do 2 minus 9, so I have to go all the way to my tens place. That 4 is a 40. It becomes a 3, which represents 30. I would regroup and add 10 ones to the 2 ones I already have here, which is 12. This would become 11 ones because I'm going to take 1 away and regroup that to my tenths place. So 10 tenths plus my 3 tenths that I already have there is 13 tenths. 13 minus 6 is 7. 11 minus 9 is 2, and 3 minus 3 is 0. I'm going to bring my decimal straight down. So that last item, which is the birthday card, would be $2.67. Now, when I'm doing something like a check-in and I've got a lot of math going on with multiple steps, before I submit my final answer, I need to check with addition if I was subtracting. So I would take my third item, the birthday card, I would add it with the cost of the perfume and the cost of the flowers, and it should give me $42.39 if I'm correct. So always double check your math, especially on a big assessment like a check-in. Alright, so that is a review of adding and subtracting decimals. Go ahead and practice a couple on your own.